Hi, my name is Garrett Christopher. This is my YouTube channel, Garrett's Movie Take. I'm laughing because this is my third attempt. The first time I stopped halfway through because I'm trying to set up some rental arrangements and I saw my phone ringing and I had to get the call. So I stopped it. The second time is I said 4 and I did this. And I did it again, 4. So let's move past all that, shall we? By the way, I've got 2 more of these channels. There's Garrett's Take and Garrett's Sports Take. Garrett's Sports Take, I'm going to talk about the fact that the lack of interest in sports right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. Baseball is pushed back, opening day, blah, 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 whatever. So I'll talk about that in a second. You have to check into that channel to get that information. And Garrett's Take, I don't have a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I do, but I can't really talk about it. It's a secret. So I can't discuss it too much. So Garrett's Take is kind of on hiatus right now. But please visit bn.com. You can also go to Amazon, by the way, and you'll see I have 5 novels. See, I said 4 last time I did this. It's 5 novels available. There's 3, which were kind of like crime detective novels, and 2 are sci-fi novels. One of them is the first part of a sci-fi series, which I'm currently working on part 2 right now. I've also done 3 audiobooks. Check those out on iTunes and Audible. Purchase them, please. I'd appreciate it. And what else we got? Oh, weekly podcast. Yeah, I'm doing a weekly podcast. As you can tell, I got a slight cold, but that's okay. I'm good. I feel great. And what else is going on? Oh, that's found on Soundcloud and Spotify. So please check that out. And right now I'm presenting The Takeover, part 1 of a sci-fi series, my most recent novel. The audiobook in its entirety. I'm on, hey man, it's like a third of the way through. So check it out. Each week I give you some more of the audiobook for free. But buy it, would you? Okay. So I haven't seen any movies in the theater for a while now. And because nothing really good has come out as far as I'm concerned. But The Batman is coming out this weekend. I probably won't see it until like maybe next week, but I do want to talk about it. Not it specifically. I want to talk about Batman a little bit and about past. Let's talk about the past. But it's going to be a 2-parter, I believe, though. I've got a lot of information going on here. And yeah, so all of this is open for discussion, I'm sure. Okay, for sure. As you can see, by the way, check out the poster. Is that a cool poster or what? Usually this poster's on that side of the room. But for this presentation, I thought I'd bring them on over and let you check it out. All right, so there are 5 discs here ready for you to see, plus a 6th one, which is holding up these bottom 3, okay? I'll talk about why they're in this order, and I'll also talk about the fact that there are some Batman movies that are not presented here. As you can tell, Val Kilmer, his Batman movie is not up here. Why is that? Because I didn't like that one. I'm okay with Val Kilmer, but I don't like him as Batman. George Clooney is not up here. Rosalba, I know you love George Clooney. I get it. But he wasn't a good Batman. And the movie sucked. Okay? So he's not up here. So I know George is so incredibly handsome, but he's not up here. All right? I'm only presenting the ones, and I've only purchased the ones, by the way, I purchase movies all the time, purchased the ones that I felt worthy of my dollar. Okay? And George in the Batman, and Val as the Batman, not worthy. Sorry about it. That one is not open for discussion. So if you're going to argue that point, you got larger issues. I'll tell you that right now. Now, what we can argue is what I have here as far as the order of the Batman movies, and I want to talk about some of the characters. By the way, if you've never seen the original Batman series, it came out in the 60s, very cool. Very cool in terms of it was new, it was different, and actually the villains in that Batman series were really good. Really good. Eartha Kitt as the Catwoman, and there were a lot of Catwomen in there, and a couple of them were really cool. Some more seductive. Eartha was more of the, oh yes, he's, this, I can't do it very well, but anyway, and then you had a couple others that came later on that were a little more seductive and, the look and that kind of a thing, which they were good too. I'm fine with that. I'm good with the look. What is his name? He played the Joker. The Riddler was great. I mean, the characters, to be very, very honest, and this is terrible, Romero, right, was his last name. Cesar Romero, who played the Joker in the Batman series. To be very honest, of all the Jokers, all the actors that have played the Joker, Cesar Romero, if you look at it top to bottom, his look, his physique, as far as the comic book is concerned, his face, the hair, the makeup, his character, his presentation, I'd put him up there with anyone as far as the comic book Joker is concerned. I think Cesar Romero was right on, right? Now, I can't say this. Villains, to me, make the movie, make the series. me give you a couple of examples. Number one on my list of Batman movies is The Dark Knight. Open for discussion. I'm okay with that. But here's my argument. Here's why I put Dark Knight at number one. Heath Ledger. God rest his soul. Heath Ledger was an incredible Joker. That you cannot argue. He was incredible. Jack Nicholson was great as the Joker in the first Batman. The first Batman movie that we really got into with Michael Keaton and all that. But Heath Ledger, that guy took it. Now, I can say this. I think that the Joker, there's so much backdrop to him. I couldn't talk in the first one either. Backdrop to him that I think it's not as difficult for an actor to somehow envelop the theme, but then where do you take it? Because Jack's Joker is different than Heath's Joker. And Jack's Joker is somewhat like Cesar Romero's, right? But it's still the Joker. You can see amongst all of them, there's still that camaraderie in terms of this is the Joker. Now, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do with it? And that's where the incredible acting comes into play. And that's where Jack took it to a different level, stuff that he did. Now, I don't know how much stuff he just did and how much stuff was brought about by the director, the incredible director. I don't know how much stuff Heath did as opposed to the incredible direction in that film as well. But I'm pretty sure they had some input and pretty sure that they just dove in. So to me, the reason why Dark Knight's number one, the villain, because you figure in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises, it's the same basic characters. Batman's the same. Alfred's the same, right? The Commissioner's the same. They're all the same, but is the villain. And I'll give you another example why villains don't work out. Iron Man 1 was great. Iron Man 2 was okay. You introduced the Black Widow, you introduced some other stuff, but the villain was so-so. So the movie was, kind of a letdown. And you can't say it wasn't compared to Iron Man 1, which was just groundbreaking. Iron Man 3 sucked for a lot of reasons. It was cute and it was good, him and the kid and him going through some things, and you found out we wanted to know more about the Marvel Universe, what's happening next. But the Mandarin. Now, I don't know, I never knew about the Mandarin in the comic books. I read them during the 70s. Yes, I'm old, I get it. I read them during the 70s. I never remembered anything about the Mandarin. So was he like this comical character in the comics, in the Marvel comics? But couldn't Marvel have chosen someone else from the Marvel Universe to play as a villain in that one? I mean, it was so silly. A third of the way through, I'm like, this is great. This is going to be so cool. And then he turns into be this buffoon, this actor buffoon. Are you serious? Come on. Anyway, I think the villain takes over the top. And that's why I choose Dark Knight as number one. Now, we'll talk about individual characters here in just a minute. In fact, probably in part 2 of this series, but movies right now. Okay, number 2 I have as the Batman. Now, this one here, Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Kim Basinger was in it. Tim Burton, right? Tim Burton, just, man, this guy has done so many things. I need to study up more on him so I can talk about Tim Burton a little bit with you. You know, Nightmare Before Christmas and all this stuff. But his vision, imagery, just as far as scenery and that kind of stuff was really, really cool. And I still like Michael. And again, we'll talk about individual characters here in just a minute in the next one. But I put that one as number 2, not number 1, because of Heath. Now I get it. By this time, you could do a lot more things as far as cinematography than you could at this one. So I'm not kind of comparing that side. I'm comparing to the characters, the plot, the movie and all that. I just think that there was just embalming, would that be a good way to put it, of just the entire theme that was wrapped in The Dark Knight that Batman, the first Tim Burton Batman, definitely touched on and took on, but it definitely was more contemporary, where I think Dark Knight didn't care about being contemporary, just cared about this is what we're doing with the characters, let's move with it, right? Number 3, I put it Batman Begins, which was the first of the Christian Bale trilogy of the Batman. Scarecrow was great in that film. I'm sorry, I can't think of the actor right now that played him, but really, really cool. I remember being in the theater. Where are we at? 9:42. I remember being in the theater, and when I first watched it, that scene where the Scarecrow, and now you watch it and you're like, okay, whatever. But in the theater, that scene where the Scarecrow has got his all the stuff that kind of like the powder and all that kind of makes you hallucinate and all that. It was a little scary, actually. It was very effective, I thought, and a really, really good job there. The Dark Knight Rises. So why did I put that as number 4? Well, first of all, of the Tim Burton films, Batman Begins, by the way, is down here holding up these 3. As much as I love Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer, it got to be a little zany there, a little bit, and I just can't put it above these guys, right? But Dark Knight Rises, the end of the Christian Bale trilogy there, I thought everyone did a good job. It was long. That's the only thing. That's why I can't take it and put it above Batman Begins, because it was very, very long. But again, scenery was there. As far as visually, just incredible. The sound was great and all that. So I put it 4th. Batman versus Superman. So many people hate on this film, and I don't know why. Now, I didn't put it at number 1 or number 2 or number 3 or number 4. But I did put it up, and I will put it up against some other Marvel movies. And I sound like a DC apologist here, but I liked it. I thought it was really, really good. I thought the characters were good in that. And there were some things that could have been better, but I thought overall it was a good film. So since the Batman was in it, I put it here, right, as number 5. And people forget, some of the early Marvel comic movies were not very good. The original Fantastic Four, as much as you love Chris Evans. By the way, Red Skull as a villain, oh my goodness, so good in the first Avenger. Remember, Chris Evans was the original Human Torch in the Fantastic Four. Those movies were, again, they were successes because they were contemporary, and you had Chris Evans in there, and you had, what was the young girl that played Invisible Woman? Anyway, and those kinds of things. But as far as movies, a little cheese, right? I think this was a good attempt. So give it up for DC on that one, all right? Okay, we're going to stop here. I'm going to go to a part 2 and talk about individual characters and why I liked and why I didn't like them. I touched a little bit on that, but we'll talk about it more here in just a minute. Yeah, please visit. Oh, my website. Here's why I'm not on my website. I think I'm going to close it down for a little bit. I need to do some remodeling, and I'm currently, I'll put it out there, I'm currently paying a company right now to keep it going, and I'm not getting my bang for the buck. So I have to change things up a little bit. So it might be out for a little bit. So right now, go on to iTunes, Audible, SoundCloud, Spotify, BN.com, and Amazon to get these products and all that kind of thing. Let's check things out. But or just come on here and I'll say hello to you. Cool. All right. Let's move on. We're going to a part 2 of The Batman. All right. GoPro, stop recording.